up, B? How are you?
What's up, my man? I'm incredible. How are you?
I see you on Facebook too. How are you?
Good, bro. This is great. Double screens, double the Nick. Double the
Nope.
Nick in my life. Come on.
I mean, that's all you need is just two Nick. All right. So this is the first time we've ever done a showdown where we're doing it on Instagram, and we're also doing it on Facebook. So this is we're setting a first ever here. So thank you for that, B Rand. How are you today,
Absolutely.
buddy?
I'm fabulous, brother. How are you doing?
Really good, really good. So as you know, it's three questions. You go back and forth. But before I welcome Germany, what's up, Germany? Before we
Let's
do
go.
that, why don't you tell everyone your quick 60-second, 90-second story? I'm Brian. Here's where I'm from, and run it to the end, and then we'll do some Q.
Yeah, I love that. So my name is Brian Rand. I am originally from South Dakota. I live in Miami, Florida now. I own a company called Event Sales Agency. So I've been in sales my whole life. I worked for Grant Cardone. I worked for Dale Carnegie, a bunch of other organizations. About a year and a half ago, I decided to take a step out on my own. And what we do is we go to live events and we sell back of the room. We sell from stage, help create offers, etc. So in our first 12 months, we did over $25 million in sales. And so it's been a phenomenal launch for us in our first 12 months, and super excited to be on this with you. I know we've done a few events together. You've spoken at events. And so you've been a tremendous help for me. So it's an honor to be on here to continue to build our relationship and also get to continue to learn from you as a mentor and a friend. So appreciate you having me on today.
So excited to have you on. Everybody, welcome Brian. Give him some love out there in the comments. Give him some love down there. And
Let's go.
Side of things. This is cool. I got you on two screens. I'm toggling.
I know, bro. Yeah, you're like all over the place. You're everywhere. So
like a ninja over here. So okay. My quick backstory, y'all, and then I'm gonna ask Brian the first question. I'm from Michigan originally, very blue collar, middle class upbringing. All four of my grandparents worked at the same factory. I wanted to be rich one day. Can't sing, can't dance, can't rhyme, can't act. Not gonna do anything illegal. So I went to play sports. Got introduced to entrepreneurship at 18 while playing college sports. I said, "Holy shit, there's the off ramp." Went after entrepreneurship hardcore, made my first million at 25. Company went out of business, bought the assets of that company, started my own company, ran it up to 40 million in sales. It crashed in the recession, pivoted with the same brand, different product, and launched challenge-based marketing, a vertical that didn't exist at the time. Bought challenge.com, did a couple billion in sales, 20 countries, created 100 millionaires on that run, 3.6 million customers, and every success and failure you can think of. Let's ask some questions. Here we go. Brian, question number one. You are a sales authority. Logging on right now are people that are from the sales world. They're sales professionals, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. I'm going to speak to not the sales professionals for a moment. I want to speak to gig economy, solopreneurs. Maybe they have a great service they provide, entrepreneur who doesn't value sales. What are the top three characteristics that is required to be a expert level salesperson, the way that you teach, educate, and become yourself?
That's an excellent question. I get asked it a lot. And I think the biggest thing for me, right, I break it down to three things. The first thing is you have to start by solving a big problem, right? Like I have a sticky note. I have one sticky note on my desktop at home. I'm in a client's office today, but I'm at home. I have a sticky note. It says, "What problem am I solving for this person?" So I think the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the paycheck you get, right? Like everyone wants to be in high ticket sales. And most people, and being in high ticket sales, you have to solve really big problems, right? You want to make $25,000 a transaction. You've got to be solving a $200,000 problem. So I would say the first thing is being absolutely obsessed with solving problems. Like I do problem solving quizzes. I do anything that's going to trigger my mind to become a better problem solver, because I know the better I get at solving problems in every aspect of life, the more I can help my clients solve problems, which means I'm going to get paid more and more actively if I do that. So the first thing is be a big problem solver. Second thing is ask good questions. So there's a book that I read called Question-Based Selling. So my entire sales process, I literally follow the Dale Carnegie question process in asking questions to get to the sale. So again, they always say, right, whoever talks the most on the call is losing. So if you're doing all the talking, then you're selling and the client doesn't want to be sold to, right? If you're asking questions, then they're selling themselves, and they're asking themselves the right questions, guided by you of, is this the right solution for me? So I think asking questions and then being fanatical about follow-up, right? Like just not taking no for an answer. If I really believe that my product is the product that will solve a solution for this person, like if I had the cure to cancer and my mom had cancer, how far would I go to convince my mom that, hey, this is like, I would literally do anything I could to convince her, hey, this is what you need. It's not about the money I get. It's about, this is the need you have in your life. So hopefully whatever you are selling, it's the ethical thing. It's the right thing to solve that problem. And if it is, going to the nth degree to do whatever it takes to convince them that you have the answer to the problem that they are experiencing and you are the solution to that. So be fanatical about solving big problems, asking the right questions, and following up with everything that you have to make the deal done.
Great shit. Because some entrepreneurs are like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a salesperson. But what does an entrepreneur do? They're like, I'm an entrepreneur because I love to solve problems.
Exactly.
And Brian just said, if you're an expert salesperson, you love to solve problems.
Yep.
So what would be really interesting if you were an entrepreneur who loved to solve problems and got really good at sales, solving their problems with your solution, right?
Exactly.
That's
well,
like
a lot of people. That's also, if you're considering stepping out and starting your own thing, a lot of people start their own thing by thinking they have a solution for a problem they don't even know if the marketplace is asking for. Like, I think if anyone's going to try and start something, I always suggest go out and survey the audience, go out and survey the marketplace to see, do they actually want it? Like, like for me, when I started Event Sales Agency, it started with a post on Instagram. I thought that people wanted help closing more deals at events, but I didn't know if they did. So I just simply went on Instagram and said, does anyone need help closing out events? Like 50 people responded. I did 50 events in my first 12 months. Showed me there was a clear need in the marketplace that people needed help doing that, which then allowed me to build a business around a problem in the marketplace that I had a solution for. I think sometimes people get moving too fast about thinking they're going to create a business around something they love, but there's nobody actually asking for that in the marketplace.
Amen. All right, hit me. I'm ready.
All right. So they say you are like most like the 5 people you spend the time, they say you are like the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? Nick, yes, obviously you've amounted massive success. You have very influential friends. So my question for you is, how do you decide who makes it in your top 5, and what are you looking for in those characteristics?
Man, such a great question. And I always took this one a little bit deeper because I think your circle of 5 is actually 3 different circles. I think there's the circle of 5 people you lead. There's the circle of 5 peers. And then there's the 5 people who lead you, or you allowed to lead you. And I kind of think those are a little bit different buckets. But if you were to say, the 5 of my peers, I think the 5 peers that I carry, or the ones that I carry, I actually have a group of 20 men in Miami-based men that are 20 deep, where, once a month I might be able to get with 10 of them at a time, so I can just get proximity. And when I look around that room, I made them all actually a bracelet, and there's 3 words that resonated when I made the bracelet to give them each one of these. Number 1 was purpose. Number 2 was love. Excuse me. I was like, I can't read what that word said. Number 1 is purpose. Number 2 is love. And number 3 is warrior. So a purpose-driven warrior that leads with love. When I look around the room, they all have an edge, but they all have like big hearts. They're all hardworking. They all are tackling something big. What I also notice is none of us ever were leveraging, or we're never trying to get something from the other person. It was all just authentic relationship. And I think that's really critical.
Absolutely.
Like there's so many relationships that you can just sense there's an ask. You're just waiting for the ask. Like, what's the ask? Where this group of men that I have is there's no ask. There's just value, value, value. And, we just exchange value. And sometimes when I look around the room, I do business with one of them in an investment, a passive investment into another company. A couple of them been on a podcast. Eli is one of those guys, and we support each other's events, but there's no ask. It's just a bunch of guys getting together who are warriors, who are purpose driven, who lead with love. So that's kind of my 3 of my peer group. Great question.
I love that. I absolutely love that. A purpose driven warrior that leads with love.
Yeah,
there you go. That's good.
I got a number 2 for you.
What's the question? I'm ready. Let's go.
So you've been through some hell and back, right? And what I love about you is you're not afraid of your story. You own your story. You show your thorns. What would be the hardest moments and that created a turning point in you that allowed you to become the man you are today, right? So there's these peaks and these valleys, and all of them make us who we are. Take us to one of those valleys that has made you who you are today and the ability to sell tens of millions of dollars for some of the biggest names in the event business.
Yeah, I would say, I'll just get to the raw part, right? Like, so when I was 19, I got in trouble selling drugs, right? I was looking at 20 years in prison, and the judge actually, I was just at a hard point in my life. And that's, I think like most successful sales guys, for whatever reason, that's the industry we start in. I don't know what it is about that, right? I don't know if that's like the life. I don't know what it is, but it seems like every big guru right now, not that I'm a guru at all, but like it just, everyone's got that story, right? We started in drugs. So what happened to me was like, people say when you're younger and you're troublesome, you need to change your friends, change the playgrounds, all that stuff. And I met these men, these old biker dudes that turned my life around, and they said, look, you don't have to change any of that. Like, you have God-given skills. You've just been using them all for the wrong reasons. What we would love to do is teach you how to use those to help people. Right. Beautiful. And like, those guys brought me in. They taught me so many things. And like, I'm forever grateful for those men. They were like 65 years old. I was 20 years old, like, turning my life around. And so those guys taught me, and I don't know where I got those skills, right? I don't know if I got them on the streets. Was I born with them? Like, just that ability to connect so deeply, so authentically with humans. And like, that's what I think makes me unique in the sales side, is like, I'm not the like high closer. I'm not the high energy guy. I'm just like, I'm a 3-hour closer. If it takes me 3 hours to close the deal, I'll do the 3-hour close. But by the end of it, like, they're introducing me to their family. I've met the kids. Like, I'm invited to the next event, like that's my style. And so I don't know where I picked that up, but what I do know is that I was using those gifts for the wrong reasons. And then I had some men step into my life at a very impactful moment in my life and teach me how to use them to help people. And, life has been very good since then.
They're like, he won't leave. Just buy something.
Literally, they literally just have me. Like, sometimes, like, I had people, like, when I worked at Grant Cardone's, there would be people that were like, man, I'm hungry. I would literally order pizza for people. We'd been on like a 2-hour sales call. I would order pizza and have it delivered to their house in order to keep them on the line to close the deal. So
that's a bonus tip right there that we didn't ask. That's actually a really good hack.
Yeah. So that's, whatever that is, I don't know where that was learned, right? It's hard. Those are some of those things, like, how do you put that in a course, right? How do you, and you've trained thousands of sales guys, like, how do you train that part, that it's like, you just care so much that you're willing to do whatever it takes to not let them go, not because you're trying to close the deal, but because you're actually trying to take care of them and help them.
Great answer, buddy. Okay, hit me. I'm ready. What's my number 2?
All right. So a lot of people talk about morning routines, the cold water plunge, all this stuff. So you're a man that you're running multiple companies right now. You've got thousands of people in different orgs you're a part of. So what are the routines and habits that you follow on a daily basis to maintain your productivity and your focus?
Man, I don't know if I want to rip apart the computer and the stand over here, but I'll take this one over here. Here's all the habits right here. Is this working? You'll see the habits will pop up on the screen right there. But I'll go. I have 10 habits, 5 personal and 5 business habits. And here they are on my card right here. This card right here is everywhere. This card is in my shower, in my journal, next to my bed. This card is in my car. This card is in my closet. This card is on my mirror next to the sink where I brush my teeth. So 5 personal: visualization, gratitude, and prayer. That's 1. Visualization, gratitude, prayer. Exercise, eat right, and stretch. That's number 2. Number 3, build my children up. This was one I've had to try to adjust over the last few years, because when it used to be intentional quality time, but intentional quality time became difficult once you're divorced. I was trying to get quality time and a FaceTime. So I had to figure out, how can I do something every day that leaves an impact on my children? And it was build my children up. I can do that on a FaceTime. I can do that on a phone call. Number 4, growth and development. Number 5, track my habits. So I have a daily habit of tracking my habits. I score myself daily 1 to 10 on a habit tracker on how I'm doing on my habits. Now here's my 5 business. Attack my highest priority, recruit, present, and biz dev, lead, develop, and empower, exceptional project management, and brand build. So
can you go through those 5 business again? I'm typing them out. So
attack my personal, attack my personal, excuse me,
highest priority.
Attack my highest priority, recruit, present, biz dev. Number 3, lead, develop, empower, which is different than recruiting, right? Leading is like selling, and biz dev is different than empowering someone. Number 4, exceptional project management. And then number 5 is brand build. So that's the business side.
Love that.
So
what was that? What was that third? What was the third list there? I know that I saw there was a third list. You want to show
those are my values. So those are my values. So my goals are, what do I want this year? My habits are, what do I have to execute every single day to achieve my goals? And my values are, who do I have to be? Who must I be every day while executing the habits to achieve the goals? So I must be leading with love. I must be on purpose. I must be vital and strong. Like I don't resonate with healthy as like, I want to be vital and strong. I must be developing. I must be growing. I must be grateful, and I must be joyful.
Dude, I love that. Absolutely. And you are all those things. That's what I love about you, man. I remember, it's so funny, and it's an honor to be on here. For those of you that don't know, like I remember watching videos of you years ago, and I watched people sign up in your network marketing company years ago, and I was just like enamored by you and your partners, and I just want to be there. So like it's so funny how life comes full circle. And now here we are as peers and friends helping each other grow our businesses in Miami. And it's just, it's such a cool thing. And it's an honor for me to be here. And it's cool to not only see that, but also get to know you as a person. And you have a flamboyant, like public persona. And the reality is like everything you just said is so true about who you are as a person. So I appreciate that about you.
Man, I appreciate that. Seriously. I try. I definitely try. And it's each day you try to get better, and you make mistakes, and you improve, and you do things the wrong way, and you correct them. And, you know, it's been the practices that we both learned from some of the greatest mentors out there, that it's about the execution of those daily practices. So, okay.
Absolutely. Cool.
The third and final question. We're actually doing pretty good on time. I'm surprised because the 20-minute showdown has never lasted 20 minutes. We're actually at 20 minutes right now. Okay. So third and final. If you could give one piece of advice to 20-year-old Brian, what would that one piece of advice be? If you could give one piece of advice to 20-year-old Brian, what would that one piece of advice be?
I would say, dream bigger and go after, like, dream bigger, take more risk, and just fucking do it. Like I'm 38 now, and you made your first million at 25. I was thankful enough to hit my first last year at 37.
Whoa!
And I'm upset that I waited this long. Like, I feel like I'm so far behind, and I have so far to go. Like, I feel like I have to catch up. Right. And what's so frustrating is that a lot of the things I did last year, I had those talents and those skill sets. I just didn't have the right mindset. So when people like talk about how important mindset is, it's not just like talk, it's actual real thing, because I'm not that much more talented now than I was in my 20s. I just believe now that I can. And then I did. And now I have. Right. And so I think that if I could go back to my 20-year-old, I'd say, man, just do it. Like I was with a 22-year-old last night, Simon Lerner. He may or may not watch this, but like, he's 23 years old. He owns $11 million properties in Tampa that he's paid for by himself. And they're all Airbnb, and now they're cash flowing. And I'm like, shit, if I was 22 having a couple million a year, like how much would life be different? And not living in regret. However, like seeing the opportunity for 20-year-olds today, I mean, they just have such a better opportunity with the internet, with Airbnb, with everything that's out there. Sir. And I would just say, don't miss the opportunity. Like, go get it. Believe you can. Add an extra 0 to your goals, and just know that you actually can do it. And it's by getting around people like you, Nick, and myself, and other guys that want to mentor them to see them achieve that.
Well, chances are, you might not be alive if 20-year-old Brian would have had those opportunities. So,
Exactly.
we all have our path, and I tell myself every day when the company that bought us defaulted on the $34.5 million payment to me, it was $105 million to the three of us. I remind myself every day that the universe knew I wasn't ready for that last $35 million. It gave me the first 35, but it wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that next 35. Yeah. So
my dad, I tell you what, when I got in trouble, I was in work release in jail, and I was making like $5 an hour, but somehow my bills were getting paid. Before, I was making a bunch of money doing other things, and they weren't paying the bills. And my dad would always remind me, he's passed now, but when he was around, he would remind me, he'd say, remember the happiest moment in your life, you were making $5 an hour, because I was grateful not to be in prison. So he'd always remind me, like, remember the joy you had making $5 an hour. And to remind me that it's not always connected to money. It's a lot easier to be happier with money. It's just not all of that stuff, right? So, all right, last question here for you.
Let's do it.
What do you see as the biggest challenge facing the sales world today, and how do you believe your experience and influence will help address and correct these issues?
Leadership. I'm gonna just say blanket statement: leadership, and it's not just sales. It's everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have a real fear as social media grows and grows and grows. The gap of leadership is becoming greater and greater because people are confused. People are confusing the word influencer with the word leader, because leadership used to be defined as influence. So then this word influencer popped up. They're like, oh, I've got a bunch of followers and a bunch of likes, therefore I'm a leader. I'm like, nope, that's not how it works, right? No, you're an influencer. Or, hey, I coach, therefore I lead. No, you coach, right? Coaches get paid. Coaches get paid whether or not there's a result or not, right? Well, I'm a thought leader, therefore I lead. Now, fuck that. No. That's a philosopher. A philosopher is not a leader, right? People are manipulating language that is encroaching on what leadership is by definition, but it's not real. Leadership is the highest level of an impact ladder that you can reach, right? Right below leader is mentor. What's the difference between mentor and coach? Mentors don't get paid. They just mentor. Coaches don't give you mentorship unless you pay them, right? So what about a leader? Well, here's next to mommy or daddy, I believe the number one thing you could ever be called from somebody else when you walk into a room is, that's my leader. That's my workout partner. That's my boss. That's my manager. That's my coach. That's my expert. That's my mentor.
That's so good.
But the number one thing you could ever be called is, that's my leader. And let me tell you the difference. A leader bleeds when their people bleeds. They win when they win. They laugh when they laugh. They cry when they cry. And they don't make $1 unless their people make $1. And the world of influencing and the social media influencers, the world of coaches, the world of experts, and that world is not tied to the results of their people. You are such a great sales leader because you're like ingrained 18 hours a day to the outcome of your salespeople. That's leadership. If they don't win, you don't win, right? And you feel every part of their pain and their struggle. Now, I'm not saying that a thought leader doesn't feel pain. I'm sure they have empathy. And I'm not saying that an influencer doesn't have pain when somebody comments something that's negative happening in their life, or when you're making $1,000 an hour to coach somebody. I'm sure you feel their pain, but you still take the $1,000.
Yeah,
that's not how it works with a leader. So the biggest gap is leadership. My mission, I think my most critical skill that I can provide to the world is raising up other leaders. And right now I'm launching new businesses, which is allowing me to raise up sales professionals. But the long term for me is it will always be raising up leaders.
Awesome. So if somebody wanted to be led by you and continue to engage with you, how would they do that?
It's a great question. It's much more difficult to do right now, right? Because I'm in a startup. My startup is very selective to who it is that I'm bringing on board. So I think I could mentor a lot. So maybe not lead a lot right now, but I can definitely mentor a lot. They can go to catalystlaunch.com, catalystlaunch.com. It's my Telegram group. And I just pour into people. Any question they ask, I answer it for free.
Is that free? That's free for anybody, catalystlaunch.com? All right.
Well, there's so much to be said about people don't value free. I throw a free Growth Wednesday every other week. All of my best shit of how I did billions in sales, 20 people will show up. And I laugh because if this other guy who's never built a $1 billion company, never built a $100 million company, never built a $10 million company, might get 30 people to show up for $1,000 a head because he's charging and he's using. And I'm just like, guys, I will pour into you. Just show up. So Growth Wednesday, every other Wednesday, Catalyst Launch, Telegram group. How about you? Where does everybody find you, brother?
Well, at BC Rand on Instagram. And listen, I love giving free value. So if you guys are on this and you guys want to set up a consulting call of how we can help you grow, build, scale your business, go on to at BC Rand on my Instagram, schedule a call. I'll show up for it. I'll give you guys 15, 30 minutes of my time to pour into you and your company for watching this. Look, I appreciate everything Nick's doing. I appreciate everything you've poured into my life. And so the least I could do is pour back into the people that you're also leading. So I would love to do that. And yeah, if there's any, obviously we do events primarily, we do sales. So that's what we do as a business. However, I'm personally trying to get to a point where I don't know if it's launching a catalyst type thing. I launched a mastermind recently with people that if you can scale your business through events, we launched a mastermind for those kind of people. So we've got a number of people in there that we're, growing and pouring into and helping them win. But really just as hearing you talk, one of the things I think I've been so, and I really appreciate you asking me on this live, because personally, I just haven't put out enough content, I don't think. And I'm not spending enough time sharing my heart, sharing my skills, sharing the gifts that I've been given on social media. Because I'm so focused on building my business. And so I think that I need to take some more time and really look at giving that away for free, and doing more value give instead of being quiet and just focusing on my business. So maybe a bonus question, how do you balance like that? You're running businesses, you've got so much to do. Like, how do you find all that time to do the catalyst, to pour into social media, all that stuff?
Well, I didn't value it enough in the past that it's come back to haunt me. So now there's enough pain, right? Leverage pain creates action. Yep. So I've watched people go build brands significantly greater than mine, doing 1/100th of results or 1/10. And it was just so much pain to watch their brands grow. Not that I'm not excited or happy for them, just looking at myself going, dude, that was so stupid of you. Like, just why did you not just do it? You were too focused on your own focus. You were too focused on your own team. You were too focused on your own business. You didn't have time for that. And I'm getting haunted. A couple of quotes that I've heard Jared Glantz say it. I heard Grant Cardone say it. I heard Patrick Bet-David say it on a video last week. It's just like, you can be the greatest salesperson in the world and you will make millions and no one's going to know who you are. But you can be an average salesperson and a great marketer, and you'll make tens of millions or hundreds of millions, and everyone will know who you are. And that's just like, man, that's such a direct reflection of my lack of desire to build the brand. So I'm leaning into the brand, but the shorter answer is systems, and maybe you and I can talk about that offline. So I got a system for everything.
No, I loved it earlier when we did our FaceTime earlier. You got the whole team there. So that I know they're listening right now. They're all there together. So you've got a tremendous team. And so, yeah, I think it's our duty, and you're right. And I have seen those posts, right? And like the better market, and as good sales guys, it's always been like, oh, just give me good leads and I'll close it and make a lot of money. And the reality is Mark Grant's not a sales guy anymore. Patrick's not a sales guy. These are the best marketers in the world. Gary Vee, Alex Hormozi, et cetera. And, they've all got a lot of zeros behind their name because of it. So speaking of a lot of zeros, dude, you've done billions in sales. And so I appreciate you bringing me on here and continue to pour value into my community, the people following. So if you've logged in as my friends, please follow Nick, give him some love, join his Telegram group. And anything else we can do together for you guys, please reach out to either one of us. We'd love to
Showdown number 5 complete. Brian Rand rocked it. If you're watching the replay, just hit replay. Brian will cut up some reels. We'll shoot them off to you. Thank you so much, buddy. And everybody else, thanks for logging in.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Tuesday.